One of the things that I keep running across whenever I'm speaking to somebody that's been through emotional neglect, emotionally abusive households, and this is especially true in Mexican or Latino households, right? Is whenever they've grown up in a household that is filled with turmoil, filled with parents that are constantly arguing, that has one or both parents complaining about the other partner to the children, right? To one or to all of them, that has physical violence, that has alcoholism, that has emotional abuse where they're constantly demeaning the kids and manipulating them through fear, right? Whether it's physical or emotionally, they're just manipulating them to do as they're told at all times and to keep their mouths shut, right? This is something that I keep seeing in a lot of different people's childhoods and how they were raised. And whenever they come to me and start to tell me about what it is that they want in life, I usually end up in a place of understanding that they want to at least be able to develop more deeper relationships, right? More intimate relationships, or even just associate with others in a healthier way, whether it's because they're afraid of any confrontations happening subconsciously, right? Or they're afraid of just opening up to others and having to express themselves, having to open up and speak to others in ways that they have never been able to before, right? And a lot of the times that doesn't take telling them about your past and your hurt and what's going on internally for you. It just means trying to share with them in happiness and joy and having experiences instead of living a life of regret, of constantly living in autopilot and shutting yourself off, isolating, and choosing to not be a part of whatever social gatherings that you can be a part of, right? Turning down opportunities. And another interesting detail that I keep running across is that sometimes these people have never even been in a serious relationship, right? They've only been in surface level relationships or no relationships at all, as this anxiety, this fear that they were ingrained with from a young age is something that's very powerful, and they live a lot of their life just trying to numb that pain with whatever they can, whether it's marijuana, alcohol, any drugs, or simply being very dedicated to their work and drowning themselves in that, right? And overworking themselves and something that they can use to keep their mind off what it is that's going on internally for them. And if they do have a good job or not, that's a very important detail as well, as most of the time I see that they want more for themselves, but they are not able to find the confidence in themselves to put themselves in those situations, right? And those types of jobs that require them to be able to be assertive, to communicate with others in a more clear way, to be able to incorporate their ideas and express them with others. So what I'm getting at is that this growing up in these types of households truly diminishes any confidence that they have in themselves, right? As they were driven through fear and survival from a young age. And that's just what they were used to having to do. They were used to having this anxiety, this overthinking mind of having to worry about what the parent was going to say or do to them or to their family, right? Their siblings or other parent. And it's just a terrible way to have to go through life if you don't turn around and see that this is going to take some internal work to overcome this, right? You may change everything on your exterior. You may get a house. You may get a good relationship or whatever. You may get a house. You may get a family. You may have all the cars that you want, but internally they still feel this fear, this self-confidence that's not truly theirs, that it's just a luck that got them to where they are, right? And whenever they do decide to do the internal work, that's whenever they're able to connect to more happiness, more fulfillment, more joy in life, and actually being able to be present without that anxiety, that fear, that overthinking mind always being in the background. So hopefully if this is something that you've been through, you connect to some of these things that I've been expressing or sharing, right? These symptoms that I keep running across whenever I speak to people that have been through these households, and it inspires you to decide to do this internal work, right? This is truly the other half of what a human is, right? The emotional, the spiritual side, whatever that means to you. But there is an internal world that if you don't ever pay attention to it or even acknowledge it and unblock whatever's going on there, you may end up living a life that's not as fulfilling as it could be, right? It feels like there's always something missing. And in the long run, you may find yourself trying to fill that hole with whatever you can find, right? Whether it's sex, drugs, alcohol, whatever it may be, just constantly trying to fill that emptiness that wasn't ingrained in you from a young age, right? So hopefully this gives you some clarity and hope for yourself and to a path that you can take to start to overcome this in your own life.